Services and IEP Urgent Care, Dr. Jacob Sinkoff and Dr. Krystyn Suppa. Welcome.
Thanks for
Good morning,
having us.
doctors.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, welcome back to Jacob, but welcome to you for the first time.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Are you new at the hospital?
No, so I'm actually chief resident. I've been here for 4 years. We're a 4-year ER residency. So
Wow.
I'm on my way out.
Oh no, where are you going?
I'm going home to New Jersey.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Krystyn's been here for 4 years now. She works at our urgent care also, so she's one of our chief residents. And I really want to bring her on because a lot of people might see her around our sporting events in Jackson. We have a sports medicine track, which Krystyn's interested in. So she goes to lots of the high school games and that sort of, primarily football, correct?
Yeah. So when they set us up with the tract, we start with a local high school. For me, I live near the Northwest High School. So we primarily cover their football games. It's the more dangerous games that we're worried about with regards to injuries. And I work with them. My co-chief, Kevin Killian, works with Lou and Christie because they have a really big hockey, that's very big for Lou and Christie. But yeah, right now during the season, they make sure that they have a doctor at every single game because we have lots of injuries, whether it's reductions or lacerations. There was actually a cardiac arrest at one of the games last week that one of our mentor, actually Dr. Medlin, was there on scene.
Oh my,
thank
player?
goodness.
Yeah, no, it was a fan on the other side.
Oh my.
And I think it's really important to have kind of this medical coverage at games like this for stuff that we just don't foresee happening.
Of course, and of course football, you see the injuries all the time. What are some of the more common injuries that you've seen 4 weeks in for football?
So the first couple of weeks when it's really hot, the entire sideline is down with cramping.
Yeah.
So I had to stop my boys at the end of the game, and we had to kind of educate them on the type of nutrition and hydration to allow them to safely go through their games. They're eating Doritos before the games, and they're trying to hydrate lots of water, but they're not supplementing with their salts, and so then they end up flushing everything out, and then they end up cramping for the entire game, all their starters. As we go through, it's a lot of them getting more competitive and angry, and we worry about elbow fractures, radial head fractures, shoulder dislocations, a lot of boys with just lacerations up their arms, and we just kind of help them through that. Thank God I haven't seen anything too dangerous. But we're there just in case it happens. There's AEDs on the field, and I hope I never have to do it, but as ER physicians, we're trained to be able to do it.
You actually have more power than the coach on the field. You can pull someone out of the game.
Yeah. I work with the athletic trainers on the field to make that decision. The athletic trainers have very good rapport with the players, so actually if someone gets hurt on the field, I don't go on until they get flagged on. If I get flagged on, it's an issue. We're worried about cervical spine injuries. But we kind of make a decision together with regards to concussions. This player has to come out. It's not safe for them to keep playing.
Yeah, so important. Let me ask you guys a question. At some of the youth sporting events where obviously doctors aren't everywhere, right, unless you happen to be watching one of your children play. If you happen to see an injury, whether you're a coach or parent, a lot of people don't know what to do, right, in that situation. What's the best course of action if, maybe say you're at a youth soccer game or a youth football game and there is an injury?
Yeah, a lot of times, it's funny, is almost always, and I remember I played soccer growing up, always in the crowd, someone's, mom or dad is a nurse, a physical therapist, so getting input, from, usually there's lots of spectators at these types of things too, and usually using a parent's judgment is usually even in the ER we kind of listen to the parents. They know their kids well. Obviously if a bone's sticking the wrong direction, it might be more of an emergency medicine visit as opposed to an urgent care. But if there's some swelling, an ankle sprain or concern for a sprain where you can walk on it but just a little bit, maybe the urgent care is probably the a better option. And if it's just a little bruising, maybe Tylenol Motrin for a couple days and see how it goes, following up with your family physician also. But that's always a great question. And growing up, it's like I had a broken bone for a couple days before it got recognized. It's just like some Tylenol and Motrin and see if it gets better. If it doesn't, it's maybe time to go in. But yeah, obviously if something's pointing around the wrong direction or pain's uncontrollable, probably best at that point to kind of seek medical care. I think that sometimes the issue is kind of these non-visual injuries like concussions we always talk about, and getting if what's the difference between a headache and a concussion, because a lot of the symptoms can kind of overlap. And I think that especially in the setting of trauma, probably to err on the side of caution. And even following up, I believe Dr. Medlin, the sports medicine clinic, kind of what do you do, Krystyn, in terms of like these kids or athletes that we're worried about concussions?
That's exactly what we do. So we had a bad concussion a couple of weeks ago, and we pulled the gentleman out of the game, and I called Dr. Medlin, who is our sports medicine physician right across the street from the hospital, and we set up a 9 a.m. appointment for him on Monday. We have that close follow-up with these boys, especially in the system, because we don't want them to have further injury, and Dr. Medlin will follow with this player until he's safe to return.
Yeah, and Dr. Medlin, he knows because he's an athlete himself. He was on the winning Henry Ford team at
he
Gus
was.
Macker.
I don't think that's his best athletic achievement, but that's certainly a local highlight.
He was excited about it.
He tells everyone.
Yeah, it was on his Instagram.
A couple people.
You can't blame the kids that eat the Doritos because they have a bad role model in Patrick Mahomes. He eats a bag of Doritos in bed every night.
I didn't know that.
And a lot of the NFL.
Well, it's like who is it? Like Derrick Rose, I think, the basketball player would always eat, Skittles, or Marshawn Lynch was a Skittles.
That's all he ate.
Before the games.
Yeah, they would just a lot of these athletes have sugar tooth, and it's hard, and I think it's kind of changing just the whole nutrition aspect of these athletes are playing longer. I think LeBron's kind of like the poster child for that, where they're very kind of very cognizant of what they put into their bodies now. But for a high school, it's kind of hard.
As parents, maybe we want to rush our kids back to the playing field or the court. So they don't miss an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
How important is that proper healing before they get back?
Super important. I had someone that actually came into the ER who was from the high school I worked at and had hurt his shoulder. I said, you have to heal this now. Be out for one game. You're only a junior because you want to play your whole senior year. So miss the 1 week. Make sure that you're safe to play, so that you can have a successful career as long as you want it to go, because they're just worried, this is my first game I'm going to start. It's really important to these kids at the age of 16 and 17. But if you talk to them like that, they're actually quite receptive, and the parents are also.
Well, we're entering cold and flu season. Is it flu shot time?
Flu shot time already, So I believe we offer them at the urgent care, and they're pretty much offered anywhere nowadays. You can get them from
Target,
local
CVS,
pharmacies, anything like that. So, it's getting to be that time. The leaves are starting to change, and reminding everyone about getting their flu shots too.
Krystyn, you've been here for 4 years. Jersey girl, headed back home. What's been your impression of Jackson?
I actually really love training here. I came and I interviewed out here, and I met with the attendings, and I walked through the hospital, and the support working in Jackson has been amazing. It's a little bit slow moving for me coming from New Jersey and then working in New York, but every single person I've come across, and whether it's the hospital or outside of the hospital, has been more than kind for me. And I'll definitely miss the people here, but I need to go back home.
That's something we put it on our signs. Slow moving.
I like that.
But really nice.
Slow moving, but really nice. Very good.
Slow moving, but really nice. We like it that way. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thanks for having us.
Dr. Jacob Sinkoff and Dr. Krystyn Suppa from Henry Ford Jackson Hospital Emergency Services and IEP Urgent Care. More of the morning show after this.